Morning, students. This is lecture 2 on the poem Last Ride Together for BA Part 3 English Literature students. I am Dr. Anil Dadij, and we will start from where we left yesterday. We reach in stanza 6th, and the gist of the stanza is that the lover compares his fate with the fate of a statesman and soldier. He says, all thoughts that we entertain in our minds are not executed. All that is conceived or you imagine is not practiced in reality. A statesman's reward is a short panegyric or a song in praise of his life's works. A soldier's reward is a tombstone in Westminster Abbey. Their reward is poorer, the lover feels, than the reward of the lover whose wish to ride with his beloved is granted. So let us see line by line the explanation of the stanza. What hand and brain went ever paired? Means the lover thinks that thought and action are never coordinated. The hand does not execute all that the brain thinks. Speculations and achievements, conception and execution do not go together. In short, it can be said that whatever is conceived by the brain is not always executed. Something remains undone somewhere in our lives. All hopes are not realized. So, what hand and brain went ever paired means it's a rhetorical question and it means never. What heart conceived alike and dared? What you conceive in your heart, what you think in your heart, what you plan or speculate in your heart, generally we do not have the courage to act upon the plans which we conceive in our heart. So once again, a rhetorical question, and the answer is implied in the question. It often happens that a man who conceives a plan fails in courage to put that plan into action. What act proved all its thought had been? The original idea and the execution are never the same. There is a great disproportion between a man's thoughts and actions. The man's ideals and his actual achievements are hardly coordinated, we can say. What will but felt the flashly screen? Flashly screen means the body. That is to say, our outward physical being. And will is actually the resolution or the determination that we have. So, when he says the man of strong will suffers at every step by the limitations of this body, his body does not keep pace with his soul's movement. Soul is actually infinite, but it is confined to body, and generally the strong will of man has to be bound by the limitations of the body. The spirit may be strong, but the flesh is weak, and therefore one cannot keep pace with the other. So these are four rhetorical questions, and they all imply that there are constraints to our physical actual deeds, whereas the brain, heart, or the soul can think anything. They may imagine anything, they may have strong feelings, strong will, but our our limitations of the body abound them. We write. What was the actual idea of the lover in the beginning? He wanted to have a last ride with his beloved, so he says, we ride, and I see her bosom heave. Heave means to breathe. So she is breathing, and she is breathing, living being who is riding with him for the time being. There is many a crown for. There are so many crowns. Crown here is actually the glory, or you can say a rich reward, or you can say success. So there are many. There is many a crown. You strive for many things, and there are so many. You can say rich rewards in life for who can reach. But can everybody reach to these rich rewards? One more uh, rhetorical question, and the answer is implied in the question that all do not reach to the rich rewards. Who can reach means the ambitious people generally do not reach to get that glory which they strive in their lives. 10 lines. A statesman's life in each. Statesman, who is a statesman? Actually, a statesman is a politician with a vision, one who works great for the country. It is believed that Jawaharlal Nehru was the architect of modern India. He is considered to be a statesman, and Atal Bihari Vajpayee was also considered to be a statesman. Abraham Lincoln is considered to be a statesman. Margaret Thatcher is considered to be a statesman. So statesmen are the administrators who are the politicians who have great visions to for the welfare of the public. So he says, when they die, what is the tribute to them? 10 lines. People write poems. People write uh, tombs, the epitaphs on their burial stone, and these 10 lines seem to be the gratitude expressed by the people of his country when he is no more. And then, in a way, he is trying to compare the life of a statesman with his own life, and then he moves forward. He compares his life with a soldier. The flag stuck on a heap of bones, a soldier's doing. When the soldier is dead, his dead body is covered in a flag, national flag, and this is what he gets for dying for his country. What atones means, is it sufficient reward? Does it amend? What reward does he get for sacrificing his life for the sake of his country? In fact, his labor, his pains, his struggles, his sacrifices are greater than the reward he gets. That is what the poet wants to say. What atones means, is it sufficient reward for a soldier? Definitely not. They scratch his name on the abbey stones. And just as we have written the names of our national heroes on India Gate, in the same manner, in England, uh, Westminster's Abbey is a place where they write the names of their great national heroes. So, is that sufficient? If their names are written on the Abbey stones, is it a sufficient reward? And after comparing the lot, after comparing the fate of a soldier and a statesman, the lover, the speaker reaches to a uh, conclusion that my riding is better. I am riding with my beloved, and this is better by their leave. By their leave means by their permission. Leave means permission. I would like to have their permission. They would definitely agree that yours wish or yours achievement, yours reward is better than ours because it is fulfilled in your lifetime. What does it all mean, poet? Now he compares in the next stanza, in the seventh stanza, the lover feels that his destiny is better than that of a poet who has a great power of expressing what other men can hardly express. But the poet never attains what he aims at. However, the lover has attained at least a part of his ideal and is therefore happier than the poet. What does it all mean, poet? Well, the lover asks, he addresses the poet as to what is the advantage of struggling so much in life. He compares his destiny with that of a poet. A poet expresses for rest of his life. He struggles throughout his life. What your brains beat into rhythm. All the time the poet's mind continues to create different rhythms. You tell what we felt only, what the common man feels, what the lovers feel. Generally the poets express them in beautiful words. You expressed, you hold things beautiful, the best. And the poet expresses the things that are best, that are ideal for human beings. The poet thinks that the beautiful things, the best things, the ideal things are expressed beautifully by the poet, and paste them in rhyme. So, side by side, paste them in rhyme. Rhyme means poem. So, they write them in poetry, side by side. It is something, nay, it is much. It is something means it is something substantial. The poet's work is great, the lover accepts it. But it is but then he says it is, nay, it is much. It's not something. It is much means he admires highly the works of a poet. He says it is greater. But then, have you yourself what is best for men? But now he asks a question. Are you satisfied with what you have achieved for yourself? Have you yourself? Have you achieved? Have you found what is best for men? Means, have you been successful in achieving what is best and ideal for men? Although the poet expresses others' joys, pleasures, griefs, sorrows, but he himself generally does not experience these joys. He cannot realize the ideal he preaches and what he sings of. He does not possess the best for humanity for himself. And here, actually, the lover tries to appreciate himself over and above the poet. He is undervaluing the poet in these lines. He says, are you poor, sick, and old before your time? You remain poor for the lifetime because generally the poets are not rich people. Generally, the poetry or their books are not sold to such an extent that every poet become rich. And because they devote so much of their time in writing poetry, they generally become old and sick before their time. Nearer one whit your own sublime? Are you nearer one whit? Whit means bit, one part to your own sublime. Sublime means something grand. So have you reached to the grand ideal that you have in your life? Then we means the lovers who never have turned a rhyme, who never have written a poem. इसलिए the poet says, sing, riding is a joy. He addresses to the poet in a very ironical manner कि although you never reach to your sublime, but now he builds the poet to sing, because he sings what the other people feel, what the lovers feel. And now he builds that writing is a joy for the lovers, and therefore you should write about this. For me, I write means you will live on an ideal platform only, you will write about the second hand experience only. And for me means for the lover, I write means I prefer to live than to read about or to write about other people. Thank you, students. We will do this much today. We will read rest of the poem in our next lecture. Thank you very much.